Hello people of the web, and welcome back to another episode from the Vanilla High server. I have a very clear aim for this week's episode, but first we have a couple of updates to discuss. First of which is that I'm continuing to chip away at the mountains of our island, and one day this area here might go all the way down to a height that I can build at. The server recently updated to 1.14.3 and briefly had mobs re-enabled. Sadly, by the time I got online, the server staff had realised that mob spawning was still an issue, and so mobs were turned back off. So while we have this beautiful farm, which is supposed to be a very good XP farm, I'm still stuck using the skeleton spawner. Lucky we've got that, I suppose. One day I'll get to use this. Whilst using the skeleton spawner, I've actually seen 2 skeletons wearing diamond armour in the last 2 days. And the last one that I killed actually happened to drop some diamond armour, which is a first for me. The other one I tried to capture, and he is now in a tunnel in the end. Not the end, the nether. And I have to decide whether I'm going to kill him and see if I get a drop, or whether we keep him as a pet. He's just along here on the left. Hi! I'm just going to kill him. Just because I want to see if I can get another pair of pants. Oop. No. Oh well, worth a try. I've still got 1 pair. I've no use for it, but I mean, we've got plenty of diamond armour spare. It's just nice because it's rare. Another thing I'd like to do while I'm here is empty these shulkers. Because while it used to be important to have them, all this extra armour in shulkers so that we could store them in a chest in the storage area, I think chests along here would probably be a more sensible way of doing it. So I'm going to move those over quickly. All done. Now, because we're actually a distance away from the main part of the base, we don't have to really worry about entity counts over here. So, rather than just having plain chests with boring signs on them, I think, as these are helmet, chest piece, leggings, and boots, it'd be nice to have item frames on there. Oh, I don't actually have a crafting table. Crafting table. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I don't want to put diamond armour on the item frame because, well, with recent updates we've had issues with entities falling out the world, so as and when I get some gold pieces of armour to put on these other 3, then I'll pop them on. And yeah, that seems sensible because I get them regularly enough from here. In fact, I even have some... Oh! That's a very lucky coincidence that not only do we have the 3 items that I need, but they're the only 3 in there. That's pretty slim chances. I promise that wasn't set up. Done. And now that I've got 3 empty shulkers, I can use them to carry some of the bones from here. Because, yeah, it's been producing plenty. In the last video, we did the... barn, which we'll render in at some point, and in the loft of the barn, well, that worked quite nicely, we built this little nano farm, which, while it's not fully automatic, it still is good enough that it can give us plenty of potatoes, carrots, wheat, and beetroot, which I can trade with villagers. Now, the fruit that we don't have would be pumpkins and melons, which is what I plan to work on today. I should say that the main reason that I'm particularly focused on pumpkins and melons is because now we have the nano farm and that I'm trading with the farmers regularly, it makes sense to get as many emeralds out of them in one trip as possible. So while they'll buy pumpkins and melons, I want to sell them pumpkins and melons. Now, in a discussion with Hushbug earlier today, we were talking about all the different places that we could put a pumpkin and melon farm. Now, the first thing I said about was we could build it here. However, I had a reservation about building it here, and that's that we're not actually likely to be on this part of the island much. The area we're mostly in is the Guardian Farm, or at least it will be, and the Skybase, which is all the way up there. Now, there's another farm that I built directly underneath the Skybase to take advantage of the chunks being loaded, and that would be the slime farm. So at the slime farm I had a couple of ideas, one of which is all of the area behind this part here that I'm panning across is dug out. So I could very easily build it back in those corners. In fact, it just pops through the doors and you can have a look at the area. Yeah, so this entire area is dug out already. It wouldn't take much to build a farm here. But there is the downside of it would be a completely hidden farm because I can't really integrate it into the slime farm so that you can see through. But it would be loaded regularly. Now, as a compromise, what we discussed was building it not on this side, which is the optimal side, but at the back of the slime farm. Which means, that looks weird, in this wall along here. Which, when I built it up, I did say it was very boring and needed some decorating. How about a pumpkin and melon farm? I just realised that by doing this I'm going to reveal that I'm not as rich as I pretend. Yeah, the beacon's made of iron. When we've had guests over, they've all just assumed that it was a diamond beacon, just what they could see. And while I didn't actually say that it was a diamond beacon, I mean, I didn't correct them. Now, my intention is to put several different layers up the wall. I'm not entirely sure how tall the layer's going to be, so I'll work on the bottom one and then go up from there. And I definitely want it at that height for the window. Oh, there's going to be lava behind this, isn't there? Oh. And... oh. I know I sound disappointed. I'm more just surprised. And also, it would make sense if I put the beacon to have haste. I mean, it's sitting just there. I was really expecting there to be an end chest in the study. That's why I came in here, and there isn't one. So, best fix that. Now, of course, the closer the door, the more helpful. So, let's put it there. Which means, I suppose, that if I'm putting one there, I wouldn't want to ruin the symmetry now. So I've got to put one there. Oh, much better. Oops. What? I relogged. It was in my inventory. This is by far one of my favourite things to do in Minecraft. That's just so satisfying. And then, not quite so satisfying, but not as bad as it normally is. Yeah, the problem with doing this is when that happens. Right, so this would be the back wall of it, which means I just need to dig out this little chunk here. Just a quick demo so you can see what heights we're working at. Now, the ground will be this height with all the pumpkins and melons planted here. There'll be one space before the ceiling, observers pointing down to any stems, and pistons at that height. Which just means I need a couple blocks for the redstone, but more importantly, beneath this, I need space for a hopper minecart. So this whole area needs digging down one, and the tracks need laying. Plus I need to decide somewhere to unload. Oops, I accidentally discovered some diamonds. Don't need them. That really didn't take long to fill up my inventory with stone. And I haven't actually got anywhere to put the stone. Which seems ridiculous when you've seen the size of our stone silo. Oop. Whee. Well, as you can tell, the top lamps are turned on. Which means that's completely full. And yeah, this is just starting to stockpile here as well. And just in case any of you haven't seen how many chests are in here and are all full, yeah, plenty. And that's on top of what we have in the storage area. Now, as I refuse to lay rails on stone, and especially diorite, I brought stone brick with me. I did forget to bring torches, but this is why I always carry some in my essential shulker. Poof, poof, poof. There. And there was light. And rather than adding in redstone later, let's do it to start with. Should we do there to... There, that should be enough. Oh, no, that's not right. I need one extra one over here. Why? I know it's not symmetrical, but because it's going to go back and forth at this point, and the last set is going to go along there. I know what I'm doing. It's all in my head. Just like those voices. Okay, now I'm going to need a lot more rails than that, but that's a start. Now what a lot of people will do will run a cart in at the corner, run it back and forth until it gets to the far end, and then it bounces off the wall and comes back the same route. Now obviously that's not really the best way of doing it, because time between doing this part and doing it again is a lot longer than this part, because of course rebounds, and then much better to have it kind of evened out. My solution for this would be to go then we turn the corner, and we can just do that pattern backwards and forwards. If I've done this correctly, there will be an even up. Oh, I'm not even sure. I'm just going to build it in worst case scenario. I have to rip up some rails. Not really a big deal. Oh. Well, I suppose that's close enough. We'll just leave it like that and cover it over. Of course I was being silly. We've got plenty of rails in here. Oh. Okay. Looks like I need to make some rails. Oh, that's a lot more gold than I was remembering. I was thinking it was sticks on the outside and then a gold in the middle. It's going to cost me a bit of gold. I think that's enough, but if not, I've got the supplies with me, so we just need to swoop back down. It's nice being close to the base. The closer I get to completion, the more confident I am that I've worked this out correctly. And when I say confident, I also mean surprised. Now if I place this, does it get... No, it doesn't. Fantastic. So it comes in here, goes along, zigzags up, and then shoots off, and because it's going this way already, it will continue that way. Go to an unloading station, come back out, and this way. Perfect. Now this layer of wood certainly doesn't need to come out for the design, but I need it so that I can get in and do my work. Now if I've done my math correctly, just check this is the middle. Yes, these two blocks here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then my water sources will be in the middle. I hate having to work out where water sources go to hydrate land. And notice how I was sensible enough to put the end rods at the right height that they weren't interfering. It was almost like I thought it through. I didn't, but it's almost like I had. And yes, before you point out that water here will not hydrate the corners, I know. I planned this as well, because there'll be water sources, I think in that block there, although I will need to double check. It might be one, might be okay one further off, but either way, doesn't really matter because it's all out of sight anyway. So, 2 slabs, Then I just need water. Luckily, I have an infinite water source in the form of this bit. Although I will need to make 2 trips. There. That'll hydrate out 6 blocks, which is this point here. And then a diagonal, which is... So, this is hydrated, this, etc. So I just need something in the corner, and these bits are hydrated as well. I might as well put the wood back down here, because makes it look a little bit tidier than the bare stone. Oh. We might have a bit of a problem. Now, a couple of videos ago, you may remember that we took a trip to the new witch farm, and gave a good number of sea lanterns. I need 2 at the moment, that's it. But that's our light sources chest, and we have a strip specifically for sea lanterns. None in there, and no shulkers. And obviously none in there, because if there were any chests, they'd filter down into... Yeah. We have a huge guardian farm, and not many sea lanterns up here. I suppose I could check, see if there's any left in the guardian farm, but I doubt it somehow. When I gave those sea lanterns away, I was kind of expecting that the mobs would be turned back on. Oh. My only hope is missing a couple item rooms. Oh. Okay, I can make some. That's a relief. If I put another slab there, and one in the back corner as well, what I have to do is waterlog them, and we've got our water sources. Although I suppose it would be sensible for me to rip out the blocks surrounding it and replace those with stone bricks, so I don't ever accidentally break one of those side blocks. Yep, that looks good. And light. That's the other important thing, because these end rods obviously won't be staying. Yeah, that means all of the crops will have plenty of light and water. I'm mostly popped up here because I need more observers than 7. Unfortunately, we haven't got more, so I'm going to ask Hushbug to craft those while I get on with something else. Now, my biggest concern is how on earth I'm going to place all of the pistons and observers. Observers aren't too bad because, well, demonstrate those just by... If I go like that, that's pointing the right way. It's observing where the stem will be. Now, the big problem is that the pistons need to point downwards, and to point downwards you have to be underneath them. So it might have been easier if I'd have placed them before the dirt, but then placing the dirt would have been difficult. I don't know if this will work. This shows promise. It does work. I'm surprised that it works. I think observes in first, and then we can go from there. Or more importantly, I should till the soil. And yes, it's a gold hoe. Why? Because I had sticks and gold on me. Why not? Although, I don't even know if it's going to finish this layer. You get a lot of durability out of a golden hoe, do you? Yeah, I'm going to need another hoe. Oops. Well, that didn't even do half. Should we go stone or wood? Oh, I don't have cobble. Wood it is. I'm a little bit worried that wooden hoes seem to last better than ones made out of gold. And I know gold is not particularly durable, but still. Yeah. All my hoeing is done. Don't let me ever say that again. Considering we don't really do a lot of melon and pumpkin farming, we certainly have plenty of seeds. Now, if I remember correctly from the last time I did a farm like this, you're supposed to alternate between pumpkins and melons on different rows for maximum efficiency. This might have changed, or I might be misremembering it, but even if it isn't the case, I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. Yep, all the stems are planted, and now I should be able to do these observers much easier. If I can do it without gliding. Oop. Gliding? Yeah. Very small hitboxes to aim at, but that works nicely. Just need to wait for Hushbug to build me loads of observers, because that's all I've got. And that's not really enough. I think I have my own form of Amazon. Thank you. I'm editing my video. I have no idea what that voice was. It took me quite a while to place all these pistons, and I placed many of them in slightly the wrong place because you have to click right on the top of the hitbox. This is definitely the easier part. Ow! He says before he gets it wrong. Whilst it's reassuring to see that things are growing, it's a little bit of a pain when I'm still placing these pistons. Oh. And that should be it. It's all done. Now I just need to link up the observers to said pistons. I've managed to explain how to do things and delegate it. In fairness, I did do most of the stuff below. So in theory, whenever one of these observers detects an update, it should fire all the pistons around it. Now, I don't know whether that's going to work for all of these areas, because we've had a few of these already grow. If I can fly, would be nice, thank you. So I'm just going to manually break the ones that are in here. This is quite scary when things are trying to crush you to death. Ooh. Whilst I still need to put some glass on the front here, we now have an unloading system and a hopper minecart that's travelling around. And yes, this double chest doesn't have a lot of capacity, but it will do for now, as I need to have a think on what we want to do with the output. Because we have options of putting some chests somewhere for them to feed out to, like we've done with the slime farm, or perhaps a shulker box loader. But what we want to go for and where we want to put it, I need to have a think about. And also get some thoughts from Hushbug. I've just been doing the editing and I've realised that we've got quite a long video already. All been recorded in a single sitting, and I've rather enjoyed this little project, and so powered through it all. If you've enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. And as I always try and remind people, that likes on the video help encourage YouTube to promote my video. So if you would, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye now.